My girlfriend is expecting me to move in with her this week, but I want to break up instead. Now first off, I know this is a fucked up situation. I'm gonna try to explain this situation as truthfully and objectively as possible. I'm just trying to ask what is the best thing to do in this situation. I, am 22, met this girl, F 23, exactly 1 year ago. Prior to her I had been single for 3 years. I was mainly dating for sex and hookups but was open to a relationship if the right person comes along. She was very attractive, had a good job, comes from a good family and overall seems mature and relationship material. She had very high attraction towards me too. She told me that she hasn't liked anyone so much in a long time and asked me for a relationship. I was a little bit hesitant but thought fuck it and said yes. Then the red flags began to arise. She started getting angry at very random and illogical things. We could be at the supermarket and she would just suddenly go silent and wouldn't tell me what's wrong. Then when we got home she would start yelling at me about how apparently I walked too fast. Seriously? Like you couldn't just ask me at the store that can I walk slower? Stuff like this kept happening every now and then. She would always eventually calm down, apologize afterwards and everything would be fine. I told her that I get that sometimes you can lose your temper but it's fine as long as she apologizes and recognizes what she did was wrong and tries to better herself. Then it started getting worse. These random anger attacks slowly went from happening just once every couple of weeks to multiple times a week. It got to a point where I could barely tolerate being around her. Talking to her was literally like walking on a minefield. This one time we went to visit her sister and sister's boyfriend. I asked her sister if I could go make a cup of coffee for myself. She said yes, so I went to the kitchen. Soon after my girlfriend walks in. She sees me setting up the coffee maker and just starts yelling at me. What the fuck are you doing? That's not how you make coffee. She doesn't even drink coffee, I'm not joking. And I've been drinking coffee since I was 13 and been using that exact same coffee maker. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing. I tell her I'm fine, don't worry about it, and she just keeps on yelling, no, that's not how you do it. Why can't you just fucking listen to me for once? Soon her sister's boyfriend walks in like, what the hell is going on? She tells him that I can't use the coffee maker and he looks at it and says, seems right to me. She says, what the fuck? Well okay then, and walks away. I was so embarrassed. Another example. We were driving to the store. I ask her what she'd like to eat. She says, I don't know, so I tell her I was thinking about chicken and rice, and told her that I can cook it. Suddenly, out of absolutely nowhere, she yells, not fucking rice again. I ask what would she like to eat then and she says, I told you I don't fucking know. We get to the store, walk around a little bit and I ask her if she still knows what she wants to eat. She says no and I ask what about beef. Suddenly in the middle of the store she starts yelling, beef? Why does it always have to be fucking beef? Either beef or chicken with rice. Why the fuck can't we ever eat anything else? So once more, I ask her does she want to eat then? She still says, I don't fucking know. Then she asks if we can get frozen pizza. I tell her that I don't really want frozen pizza but she can get one if she wants and I can cook something on my own. She says something like, fine then, in a very bitchy tone. So I get me some rice and chicken and we leave. In the car she keeps ranting at me about how she fucking hates chicken and rice. I'm just sitting there quiet and waiting for her to calm down. We get home, and I start cooking. She puts her pizza in the oven and sits on the couch looking at her phone. In the middle of my cooking just as I'm seasoning my chicken she yells, that smells fucking awful. These kind of things keep happening on regular basis. Sometimes we might go 2-3 weeks with no arguments and it seems like everything is wonderful, and then it starts again. I've almost broken up with her twice. I was contemplating it for a long time, and this August, we had been drinking and I finally had the courage to tell her that I really don't know if this is working out and told her that I've been thinking if we should maybe break up. She began crying, I cried, we had a very long conversation. I told her about how I'm frustrated with her behavior and about these anger attacks. She told me that she recognizes that she has a problem and says it's just past relationship trauma. And also anti-pregnancy pills cause her to get very emotional very easily. She told me she will try her best to be better and we decided to stay together. The thing is, she used to live together with her best friend, but her best friend moved out recently and my girlfriend had to get a new place. She asked if I'd like to live together with her and got a place big enough specifically with the idea that I would be moving in her soon. I promised her that I'd be moving there this weekend but I'm just not feeling it. Nothing has changed, she still has her anger issues. I told her I'm coming this weekend and I haven't even packed anything. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I still love her and don't want to hurt her, but I know this is not gonna work. I know living with her the arguments are just gonna keep on coming until I go insane. I know it will be absolute war when I tell her that I'm not coming and she is probably gonna have to move out. What is the best thing I can do in this situation? Yup, good choice. You are dodging a bullet by doing it before moving in. Break up, she's toxic. The best thing you can do is be honest with your girlfriend and tell her as soon as possible. She sounds like a horrible partner. I am a girl and I couldn't be friends with a person like that. No matter what you say, she will be angry and annoying, so I would just break up and block her if I were you. Dude, she's an insane person and will abuse any partner who gets stuck with her. Do not move in, block her after explaining why. Honestly, with the 2-3 week timeline of things being fine then blowing up and the mention of anti-pregnancy pills, there is a very real chance that the birth control she takes messes with her hormones in a very bad way. I'm not saying that you should stay in this relationship. If you're not feeling it, then be honest and leave. I'm also not a doctor, but I am a woman and I know how much the wrong birth control for your body can cause uncontrollable emotional outbursts and many other things and make a woman feel like she's crazy. Just something that might be worth mentioning to her regardless of your decision to stay together or leave. I'd just be blunt and tell her that she is too mentally unstable for you to feel safe living with her or even continue dating her, so it's over. Then block her. The best thing you can do, just be honest. Tell her you won't be moving in, she hasn't changed despite the conversation you had and it won't work out. Moving in will only make things worse. Tell her it's over and move on. If she isn't willing to sort out her anger issues, then run for it. Sounding like a mental illness thing. But feels like toxic manipulation. If you stick with it you will likely suffer a lot. Caught wife cheating on me at house party. Me, 36M, and the wife, 31F, we're at a house party drinking. I noticed she was interested in this guy that was there. But I thought nothing of it. Fast forward a couple hours later, I told her I was leaving, I was testing her. She said she was going to finish her food. I left, but went out back because I felt something was going to happen. So I stood outside by a window where they wouldn't see me. I could see her basically falling in love with this guy. Next thing you know they're making out and groping each other. I recorded that on my phone so she can't say it didn't happen. It was very hard to watch. We have 2 kids and been together for nearly 10 years. They get up and go to the washroom. I know what's about to happen next. I went back into the house, broke into the washroom and knocked the guy out, and told her I saw everything and left. I went back to make sure I didn't kill the guy, but they were both gone. I stayed at my parents' house that night. The next day she called me, but didn't apologize or acknowledge what happened. Just asked for her cards and phone. When I brought it up, she made it sound like nothing really happened. And, when I said she was going to have sex with that guy in the bathroom, she said she wasn't. Maybe I should have waited 5 more minutes? I know she would have. That's what I've seen other people do at house parties. Ever since she has been gaslighting me. She says, well, you watch porn and have pics of women on your phone, and looked up girls on Facebook that you know. She says it makes her feel terrible. Yes, I have a porn addiction, but I have never acted out on any of it. Or made out with any girls or had sex at a party. The opportunity for that has been there, but I always push back and tell women I have a wife and 2 kids. Trying to be a good man, not like my father. She did eventually apologize. But, I feel it's only because I took her phone away, and took the family vehicle away from her. Maybe she realized her life got harder without me to help? Now, it seems like she's constantly deflecting, and trying to make me feel like it's my fault. And, saying I basically did the same thing by looking up other girls on Facebook that I know IRL. It's not the same emo. I didn't go meet anyone and make out with them, or have sex, and I had no intention to. I told her the pics of random girls in my phone and porn mean nothing to me, it's just to get me off while I'm away. I don't know what to do. I kind of want to stay for the kids. But, I work away from home and only at home on the weekends for now. I'm starting to feel like maybe it kinda is my fault? I feel like I'd be disrespectful to myself if I went back. I don't know what to do. This hurts bad. And if we do get back together nothing will be the same. I need help. Should I try work it out for the kids and see what happens? Or should I just call it quits? Sorry for the bad post, I'm shaking ATM. Update. Thank you for the comments. Very helpful. We talked about everything. I'll clarify a few things. I have to be away for work. No work for me that will pay this much in a small town. We are from a small town. I only look at porn when I'm away from home, and only do it every other day, not every free moment I have. When I go home we are always with each other, and very sexual, and yes, it goes both ways. Also, by party it was more like 8 adults having some drinks at a friend's place. Anyways, we talked it over and I decided to stay and work things out. We talked about my addiction, and I will work on it. I explained how those girls mean nothing, was hard to talk about, and embarrassing. I also mentioned how we should have a plan in place in case something like this happens again, or we both get tired of each other and want to separate. I know, sounds bad, but a plan should be in place just in case. Thanks for the help and advice y'all. It could have easily just been me cheating at a party as well. I'm not sure what you're asking, but it sounds like you should get a lawyer and some therapy. Sorry this all happened. To be fair, her actions are what's making this hard to come back from. Sounds like she's already checked out of your marriage. And think about this, you've just caught her once. How many times have you not caught her? I can't tell if this is a real post. The taking away the family vehicle part made me lol. From what you've described it doesn't sound like there's anything positive to go back to. Usually a person would be conflicted when the partner is remorseful, swearing it won't happen again, but your wife is justifying it. Perhaps she needs to do that to sleep at night, but how well are you going to sleep during the week, knowing she's capable of this? If you decide to stick around I'd at least get some kind of marriage counseling, or else the only thing that will improve is your abilities to deceive each other. Yay, this is totally a true story. Sorry you're going through this. See a divorce attorney immediately, even if only for a consultation. Get that video in the hands of people you trust. Get it saved to a flash. That video is your ticket to no alimony, potentially full custody, making her pay you child support. I know that doesn't seem important now because you're hurting, but it will be extremely valuable to you in the not-so-distant future. Stay strong for your kids and lean on friends and family. Try not to self-medicate, it will only hurt you. Okay, so let me get this straight. You've been emotionally cheating on her but are surprised she went looking for attention somewhere else. I assume you haven't been having sex with her due to the addiction. Emotional cheating is a real thing. You're trying to justify what you've done because it isn't physical, but it's still cheating. Sounds like she's checked out of your marriage. Get therapy and start looking for a lawyer. I'm going to do you a favor and be real with you. You are a violent, porn-sick psychopath. You are controlling, taking phones and cars, a criminal, assault and battery, and abusive towards women. Your wife is not your property, secret leaving tests, spying on her. If I were your wife I wouldn't want to be with you either. No amount of therapy will ever help you, but you should be going anyway. Do your wife the biggest favor you can, and get out of her life. Let her have the kids, you're clearly a danger to them too. I, 27 male, cried in front of my new girlfriend, 28 female. I am too ashamed to talk to her now. So the first thing I should tell you about me is the fact that despite being 27 I don't have much experience in dating. I guess it was just never a priority for me. Anyways, recently a girl messaged me on Instagram where I have an account to post pictures I take. I am an amateur photographer who likes to take pictures of especially sunsets and sunrises. We got to talking and she showed an interest in dating. I said okay and we took our conversation offline then. It was around 2 months ago and we have since begun exclusively dating. She is a full-time photographer while I am a software developer. We get along really well and spend 3-4 nights a week together. Anyways, the event described in the title happened yesterday. We were at a birthday party of one of her friends and everyone was drinking and some people were smoking weed. I don't drink and I don't smoke, so I was just sitting with a cold drink in my hand. One of the guys approached me with a bottle of beer and asked me to partake in it. I smiled and said I don't drink. Somehow he took offense to that and started saying he hates guys like me who ruin it for everyone by not participating in fun activities, and also said that I considered myself to be better than everybody there because I didn't drink. I said well, it's a personal choice. Then he went away and came back with a blunt and asked me to take a puff. I again declined but he kept insisting. At this point I tried to move away but he kept following me trying to make me smoke. I stopped and said please leave me alone, and suddenly he shouted at the top of his voice, "Just because you don't smoke or drink you think you are better than us, don't you?" Then he turned to my girlfriend and said to her, "When will you stop dating these Silicon Valley soy boys and start dating men?" and started laughing. I have never had anyone shout at me like this, so my eyes had tears in them, and what's even worse was that everyone was looking at us now, so everyone saw me with tears. I just felt so small and insignificant in that moment. My girlfriend came to me and we left. It felt as if she had to come to my rescue. She held my hand during the whole drive home, and when she got out the cab she asked me to call her once I reached home and then gave me a hug. But now I am feeling really ashamed on how I acted yesterday night. A 27-year-old should not have tears in his eyes because someone shouted at him, especially if his girlfriend is also there. And I was not even worried that he was going to get physical with me. Although we were roughly of the same height, I am bigger than him as I work out 5 times a week. But now it feels that she must have lost respect for me, right? No one likes a 27-year-old crybaby. So I have been ignoring her calls whole day by telling her that I am busy. So I need advice on how should I proceed now. Should I break up before she dumps me? Or can this be salvaged? But I don't see how I can gain back the respect that I lost by getting teary-eyed. I am at a loss here. Any advice will be appreciated. Honey, if she lost respect for you because you cried, she would be doing you a favor by breaking up with you. Regardless of your sex, seeing someone you like or love cry is devastating, not embarrassing or shameful. Take her calls. She seems concerned about you. Men can cry. I hate this attitude that you're somehow weak for shedding tears. You didn't want to drink or smoke yet somehow you're mocked for it. That already tells you they're insecure with their habits. I think it's gonna be hard, but you should address it that you weren't used to being shamed for not partaking in drugs or alcohol. She does care for you, bud. You have nothing to feel ashamed about. You did nothing wrong, but by ignoring her calls you are pushing her away and punishing her. If she thought you were a crybaby then she wouldn't be trying to call you. Don't let an asshole ruin your relationship. That guy who approached you sounds like the absolute bottom of the barrel. There's absolutely nothing wrong with getting upset at someone confronting you so aggressively. I would be very happy if my partner supported me in the aftermath of that. We should normalize men getting upset and not have this expectation you have to confront someone in response. Have you asked your partner how she felt about it? She might feel more strongly towards you for not flying off the handle at him. Why do you think she lost respect for you for getting teary-eyed? Did she say that? There's nothing wrong with reacting when someone is being an asshole to you. It is natural to cry in a frustrating or upsetting situation. I suggest you work on accepting yourself and getting rid of the unfortunate attitudes of toxic masculinity which make you think that crying makes you weak. What's actually weak is someone who is too unsure of themselves to ever show an emotion, or someone so unsure of themselves that they pressure others to do things so they feel better, like that asshole dude. Try bra pill for some positivity. It just shows you're a sensitive person and that is quite attractive. Also, she acted like she really cared for you. Held your hand and gave you a hug. You should really answer her calls now. She probably wants to comfort you regarding what's happened. I personally would prefer my boyfriend to get teary instead of him starting to yell and throw hands. I absolutely despise violence and that should be the case for her as well since she's chosen you. Firstly, everyone here is right. You cried, just like all the other humans do at some point. Stop being ashamed of it. Secondly, talk to her. She's probably concerned about you even more so since you won't answer her calls. If someone stops respecting you because you cried then they're not fit for your relationship. Laugh it off with her, tell her you were shocked, confused, frustrated. Whatever, don't be that guy who's ashamed of his own emotions. And honestly, the guy who teared up the guy who starts a fight. Also, I don't know what's up with that other guy but I think he has problems. If she thinks less of you because cried, she's not the one for you, bro. Sister is Mia entire pregnancy. My 30F sister 25F stopped talking to my parents a year ago because they were not supportive of her marriage to a woman. I made sure to be there for her the entire time. I went dress shopping with her, helped plan her bachelorette party, and made sure our other sisters, who still live with our parents, were in the loop about bridesmaid stuff, and was an ear for her to talk to if she needed to vent about it all. However, during the actual wedding her wife was completely cold to me, my husband, and my sisters. There were times where she would walk right past us to greet and talk to people, but never acknowledged our existence until we went up to her to say our goodbyes. When I asked my sister about this she said that her wife can be petty sometimes, and basically thinks we are siding with our parents. I guess because we still get together with them and haven't ghosted them like they did. Anyway, I'm 39 weeks pregnant. The entirety of my pregnancy my sister has only tried to meet up with me once and asked about my pregnancy once. We used to be super close, we grew up sharing a room and we would tell each other everything. She didn't come to my baby shower and hasn't reached out to me in months. I've been super hurt. Especially with how much I felt I made myself available to her during a stressful and big time in her life. And now for her to be so cold towards me for no reason. It just really shows me that the relationship is one-sided. I know after the baby is here she is going to want to see me and play the auntie role, and I really don't know what to do. Should I let her see the baby? Like, I don't really want to see her at this point, but don't know if I have the balls to say that. I really just want people around me and my baby that are supportive and actually happy for us. Not just there for personal gain. My guess is that your sister's wife is the dominant one in that relationship and has isolated her from the family successfully. You need to meet her and tell her everything you are feeling. Also that you feel like she has been isolated from the family and in her time of need you were there. Ask her, where have you been for me? Your sister. Force her to look at herself in the mirror. I have a feeling her partner has succeeded in isolating your sister from everyone who cares about her. She probably dominates and manipulates her into doing everything her way. You, Lil Stabby Boo covered some really good ground in their comment, and said it very well, so I won't repeat it, but you need to hold in your head just how hurtful it is to be rejected for who you are and who you love to the extent that your own parents skip your wedding. That never happened to you. It's an inconvenience for you to have to go to 2 holidays. It's a heartbreak that makes it necessary. There might be an opportunity for healing here, but not if you roll up acting like you're the main victim in this whole scenario. You tried to do right by your sister, but clearly the gap never got bridged. If you truly want to bridge it, you have to acknowledge the harm suffered on the other side. And so do your parents. It could be that your sister, her partner feels like the baby will mean you're spending more time with your homophobic parents who one presumes are excited to welcome a grandchild. She may feel doubly left out. But that doesn't excuse her ghosting you. Tell her how you feel without pressuring her to be a family with your parents again. It's a tough spot because you don't want a one-sided relationship, but you don't want her isolated by a controlling partner. She didn't come to my baby shower and hasn't reached out to me in months. Why didn't she come to the shower? Does that mean she's been unresponsive when you reached out to her during those months? Or that you've been doing the same thing she's been doing, i.e. not reaching out to her during those months either? Yeah, I get why she is upset, but my parents, especially my mom, really want a relationship with them. I think initially they were stuck in their conservative beliefs, but they have come around a lot and really miss her. They want to be there for her and her wife, but my sister won't let them because of their initial response. I feel torn because I don't want to have to do separate holiday events and birthdays. I also am worried about my sister being in a controlling relationship. We all just really miss her and wish she would at least try to have a discussion with the family about what we can do to make her and her wife comfortable, but instead she's just cut herself off completely. Your sister ghosted you because you're maintaining a relationship with your homophobic parents. I would do the same. You are implicitly either condoning their homophobia or letting them know it's not such a big deal. I cannot express this to you enough. Supporting and loving homophobes makes your behavior homophobic. Homophobic is a descriptor of behavior, and your behavior, willingness to tacitly support hate on the basis of your sister's sexuality, meets the description. It's your parents who are tearing your family apart. Let that sink in. Then go talk to your sister.